So as you know from our previous videos, we are moving into an RV in less than a year. That means we have to sell or donate 75 to 85% of our things. Today's video is all about kids' books. If your kids are anything like my kids, they don't want to get rid of anything. So how do you encourage your kids to hop on the minimalism train and get rid of their things? There's two phases to this process. One you're going to do by yourself or with your spouse, and the other you're going to do with your children. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Lining Up Ducks. If you're just joining us, my name is Rachel. Lining Up Ducks is all about family finance and family minimalism your way. Budgeting your money and simplifying your home and possessions, changing your life in big ways so you can focus on what matters most. Today's video is all about family minimalism. We've done a good job of keeping their toys to a manageable amount. Now it's time to focus on the books. We have way too many books. And I know a lot of you think it's not possible to have too many books, but when you're going into an RV as a family of 6 in less than a year, it is definitely possible to have too many. So how do you encourage your kids to hop on the minimalism train and get rid of their things? The first thing you need to do is prep your children about what you want to do. A couple of days ago, I brought all of the books that we have in the whole house into one place. This is the giant pile of books that I collected from all over the house, and you can see our book collection has gotten incredibly out of control. Leaving this in the floor for a couple of days where it impeded the kids' play space definitely helped them realize that we do need to pare down our books some, and these are the 2 storage containers that I've left out for them to see what space we're going to have available to us. The second thing you need to do is determine the physical limits of the space that you're going to be working with. Children understand that only so many things can fit in a bucket. Only so many things can fit on a shelf. They're very good with spatial limitations. Now my husband's got them out of the house for a day, and I'm going to do phase 1 of purging. First, gather everything that you're going to need. The containers you're going to use, or an empty bookcase, a trash bag for those books that are not salvageable, a donate bin to donate the books to the local library or to your local charity, clear packing tape to fix the favorite books that are able to be fixed, and a notepad or your phone. There are definitely going to be some favorite books that you're not going to fix. Write them down on a notepad or put them in your phone. That way you know what needs to be replaced. And replace them quickly. You don't want your children to think that you're throwing away their favorite things. Yes, it is okay to throw away your children's things, but stick to a few guidelines. There's 5 things that I'm going to focus on purging without my children. The first thing is books that are too young for them. My baby is getting older, so there are definitely books in our bookcase that can now go because they're too old for her. I'm also going to get rid of books from my childhood and let my husband get rid of books from his childhood that our children really aren't interested in. Just because they were my favorite or his favorite doesn't mean that they're a favorite of your kids. I'm also going to get rid of books I know they never pick up to read. We have books that have been given to us that they've just never been interested in. We read it once, they've never picked it back up to read again. I am getting rid of favorite books that are just torn beyond repair, but I will make sure to write them down as I mentioned before. The last thing I'm going to focus on purging alone are any books that I don't approve of the content for the age of our readers. I don't think I have many, if any, of those in my shelves, but it's definitely worth it to look. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more family minimalism videos as we purge our lives of the things that we don't need on our journey before we move into our tiny home. The last step before getting your kids involved is to sort the books for the kids to go through. I suggest sorting them by age group, or in our house it would be princesses or animals, some category that the kids are going to be able to look at and say, okay, these are all of these books in this pile. Once you're finished with this step, bring your kids in. All right, I've done the quick initial sort, and those are so far the donate books, the trash so far, and these are holiday books. I'm going to pick 1 or 2 of the favorites and store them with our Christmas decorations for next year and then donate the rest. So this is all of my younger books. These do something as far as they're fuzzy or they have flaps, and these don't. These are all of our leveled readers. These books teach a lesson. These are Kate's kind of favorite stash. These are all the Dr. Seuss books. These are all the princess books.
This stack right here is Danny's chapter books. So I'm considering letting her keep those on the shelf in her bed because they're really not for the rest of the kids. Those are really just for her to read. These are religious books, and then these are sentimental books that were mine, Scott's, or my dad's. So those I need to go through as well. These are going to go into our restaurant survival kit that we have, which is awesome if y'all don't have one of those. And these are photo albums, so those don't go over here either. Oh, and this pile that you saw me throwing, these are like toys and coloring books and stickers and stuff that got left in the bookcase somehow, so these don't go in the area either. This is the stuff that we've got to go through. I'm going to do one more quick sort through these and put the absolute favorites in the buckets to start with. I may go ahead and thin out our leveled readers because there's so many of them, and the rest of it I'll leave for the kids to pick their favorites.
Once you've purged all of the books that you know you're going to get rid of by yourself, go ahead and put all of the books that you know are your kids' favorites in the container or the shelf that you're using. That way the favorites don't get missed when your kids are choosing what they're going to keep.
All right, after that one last sort, I left a really good pile for the kids to go through. So I filled up this box with all of the younger children's books. They take up a lot of space, and I wanted to make sure the ones that we wanted to keep fit in here. Not just my little ones, but everybody likes these. So I might pull one or two out of there for the choice pile, but for the most part, I think we'll probably keep that stack. My donate bucket grew a little bit more. I put a couple of, like this book right here, I put that book in there because I know it comes in a paperback that will take up considerably less space. So I put it on my list of things to rebuy, and I'm gonna go look at the Second and Charles to see if I can find it.
So Scott came home with one less kid than he left with. Apparently Kate wanted to stay at Nana's house. So I'm gonna kind of explain how this works while we're doing the sorting. And the only difference that you'll see here is I'm gonna save room in the bucket for books of Kate's choice, and all of the books that the other children don't pick I will set aside and let Kate pick when she comes home. Ideally, you have all of your kids with you when you're doing this, but sometimes that just doesn't work out. You've now gotten all of the books down to a manageable amount. You've got their favorite books in the bookcase or the box, so they know that you're not getting rid of their favorites. Go ahead and explain again the physical boundaries that you've set for the amount of things that you're going to keep. Then simply rotate through your children, letting them pick 1, 2, 3, however many you think books at a time to place in the keep bin. If you have children that are too young to do this step by themselves, help them with the process. Once the bins are almost full, tell everyone they have one more pick. That way they think really hard about the next book that they pick. But tell them you're going to do one pick for each of them when it's all over to make sure that they didn't miss anything that you know they love. The last thing you're going to need for this phase where you're decluttering with the kids is a lot of patience. Especially if this is your first foray into decluttering and minimalizing your possessions. This is new for the kids, and they're human just like we are and tend to hold on to the things that they think are theirs and that they love. The most important thing to remember is purging your possessions is not worth fighting with your children about. They may not see your vision yet, but they will with time. If your children are having a particularly difficult time getting rid of a few of their things, but they don't fit into the space that you have designated as your spatial limits for this project, grab a box and put the books in there. Consider rotating the books for a couple of months, or just put them into storage for a month or two. If they ask for any book that's in the box, go and grab it and have them swap it out with 1 or 2 of the books that are in the bookshelf. That way they're reinforced with the idea of spatial limits. At the end of whatever period of time you've designated, pull all of the books out of the shelf again and go get the box of books in storage. Set everything out one more time, have your children do their rotating choices one more time. You'll be surprised that they may be more interested in donating the leftover items this time than they were the last time. And hopefully, in that period of time that you've waited, they have seen you get rid of a large amount of your things. Children learn by example, and if they're young, they're going to want to do exactly what mom and dad are doing. They will catch the minimalism bug just like you have once they realize how easy it is to clean up and take care of fewer possessions. Save a little bit of room in the boxes to grow. Once those bins or the bookcase is full, they have to take something out before they put something back in. Please comment below with your ideas, tips, and tricks on how to get children involved in family minimalism and purging their own things. I know I would love to hear your comments, and I'm sure our viewers would as well.
These are the donate books that the other girls picked out, and when Kate gets home from her grandmother's house, I will let her run through these and make sure there's none that she wants to keep out of there. And we may have to go through that box again, but I think I left enough room in there. Mary Claire's already gotten to it, as you can see. But I think I've got enough room in there that will give Kate plenty of books to pick out of her own.
All right, everybody, so we went from this to this. The children helped, they did a great job, and I think they learned a few things about what's really important. That's all for today. I'll see you next time.